Alright, a couple more specifics on the art of ground balancing the TX850 G Technetics G clone Chinese copy. Turn both knobs to 12 o'clock, and what I forgot to mention in my last video was that you need to raise the threshold, which is that number on the right there, that small number, until it just starts to produce a hum. And the next thing we do, we go to a patch of ground, relatively quiet patch of ground with no targets in it. Press the GG button, that button there. Ignore these big numbers in the middle, they're just target IDs. Raise and lower the coil until we get a stable ID number, which is that number, that smaller number that I just mentioned. So we're getting 41, 45. I'll turn that right hand knob back into discrimination mode or off, and then you should be ready to detect, except one more thing is to raise the sensitivity up to 100. So sensitivity is up to 100. We're looking at the smaller numbers, those numbers there, all the time at this point. Two holes, they're both 9 inches deep. In this hole I have the First World War era shilling, which is 1 inch diameter, solid silver. Putting that down at 9 inches. And in the other hole I have the sixpence. That's 3/4 inch diameter, down at the same depth. Just to give you an idea, pinpointer depth there, same depth as my pinpointer in both cases. So fill the holes back in. Fill the hole with the shilling in it back in. So the point I wanted to make is that when setting the ground grab or ground balance, make sure that you have to raise the threshold until you get a slight hum, which I didn't mention in the last video. Right, here we are. Sensitivity is set at 100. Ground balance, as I say, was set to whatever I set it to just a minute ago, and we'll see if we can pick anything up. There you go. That's the 1 inch diameter shilling, easy. And we go over to the sixpence. Right, showing on the scale 21, 22. In this case 28, 29. Right, so that shows you the depth capabilities if the ground balance is set correctly on the TX850. As I've said previously, with the G2, which is the original that the Chinese have copied, I do believe that there are other modes that have been missed off when they programmed this one. There's a backlight on the G2, and all you've got is discrim and ground balance on this, I think. I had the discrim set at 0 in that case, and something called a V-brake, which is basically setting the point on the VDI where the tone changes. So there you go. I'll go through that once again. So set both knobs to 12 o'clock, and then raise the threshold. This is for ground balancing, till it just starts to hum there. Grab the GG button, pump the coil, looking at those small numbers in the right hand box until they settle down to something fairly stable. Can be a bit difficult, you have to sort of Do it for a while. There you go, 15 in this case. Turn that right hand knob back off, and we can go over the target. Right, hang on. Sorry, that's because the sensitivity was lowered. Sensitivity to 100. Oh, that's a shilling. That was a sixpence. So in fact the ground balance, if I want to set the ground balance manually, I can just put both knobs again to 12 o'clock, and then just with these arrows, we're looking at this number here for ground balance, raise it or lower it. This is really critical on these machines. Just to show you what an unbalanced detector looks like, quickest way is to, as I say, set the threshold knob until it just starts to hum, and then raising and lowering the coil. If you're now, the sound is increasing as I lift it, which means that the ground balance needs to go up. So all I need to do is basically, looking at those numbers on the right, using right arrow, raise it a bit. Now try again. Now, see, the sound is now the other way round as it increases as I lower it, so you need to go down a bit. So it's around 33 for this, and then to set it, we just turn this right hand knob off, raise sensitivity once again, and we can go over our coins, 9-inch shilling, and the 9-inch sixpence. You can just hear that. Go around. It's as good as it gets with the TX, I think. We're prepared to play around with the ground balance. Probably want a little bit of chatter, it's showing you that it's maxed out. There you go. 19 kilohertz detector for less than £100.